From the plains of Kansas to just south of Indianapolis, Indiana, the Right Lane Cup Series returns for its 10th round of the season here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, or IRP as it's well known. This half-mile short track will see our 41 teams take on 125 laps around this very flat, very unique-looking racetrack. Let's go ahead and get you your starting lineup results. James Ellison, the hometown driver, was able to get a pole with Ryan Griffin to his outside. No cars went to the rear this race, though Jeffrey Finguy is a big notable. He will be starting deep in the field with his championship rivals Christian Vargas and Nick Breeding starting closer to the front of the field. We see Breeding there in row 11. Then you have Christian Vargas in row number 6. This will be an interesting challenge to see how Finguy is able to make up points. Alexander Phoenix's other championship driver starting in the back with him in row number 15. KJ Hayes will start last with Chris Martins. Mac Johnson had a horrible qualifying run as well, as did Ryan Reed and Stephen Colon. The drivers are ready to go. We'll go ahead and get your command to start the race and fire engines.
All right, all right, all right. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Of course, James Ellison and the number 3 team have got to be excited about this. This is his home track, and Ellison told me before the race started he was very excited and hoped that he could get a win here in front of his hometown crowd. But he has 40 other cars trying to fight him for that. Ryan Griffin coming off a few strong runs, trying to get himself a win before the season is over. Ellison, Griffin, 2 Chevrolets on the front row will lead us around to the green flag. The pace car is off, the green flag is out, and we are racing here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The 10th round of the season is underway. Side by side going through turn 1 and 2. Ryan Griffin is going to use that outside line, that preferred line, and Ryan Griffin will take the lead. The Fago Chevrolet is out front. James Ellison is trying to run the bottom line. He's got a teammate in Justin Henley behind him. Asher Evelyn will take third, but Ryan Griffin will lead the first lap of the race. I believe this is his first lap led all season. So we go to him. James Ellison will cycle back into second. Asher Evelyn the third. RJ Bishop slips into fourth. Justin Henley, the third place starter, is back into the 5th spot. Peter Onjak, though, looking around the outside. A good starting position for this number 5 team. As for Logan Cloud, he started in 7th. Zachary Fitzwater starts top 10. And you have a pair of Finguy Vasami cars rounding out your top 10. But here is a big name, Christian Vargas. Was one of the championship favorites. He and Nick Breeding, who are fighting Jeffrey Finguy in the 92 for the championship. They had a poor run last week. All Jeffrey Finguy got a top 10. See, there's Nick Breeding. He is back to 18th, trying to fight Vince Freeze for the 17th spot. If we go very far back, here is Jeffrey Finguy, started in, I believe, the 38th position. An absolute disastrous start for this team. But Finguy is trying to inch his way forward, but so far it has not been a success. But meanwhile, up front, the gap for the lead has remained about 0.3 of a second. Ryan Griffin is trying to pace himself. We asked Ryan Griffin about this, and he told me that he was not concerned. He believed that he had a car that could win this race. It was a very good, when they ran it in practice, it was a very balanced race car. This car was really able to work with him, especially he was able to roll the outside very well, and we're seeing it. He's starting to gap James Ellison. He's now got 5.5 tenths on the number 3 Indiana Dimensions Chevrolet. And Ellison told me also during the pre-race he was very excited. He believed that if he could just jump the 8 car going into turn 1, he would be able to get it, but he was not able to, and he's holding down 2nd place. Asher Evelyn running in 3rd. Asher Evelyn and this team just seem to always have things go wrong. Started, I believe, 4th, and that team just could have not been able to catch a lot of breaks. Funny enough, that 99 has fought James Ellison before. Darlington where Evelyn had gapped the lead for a good chunk of the race, and James Ellison ran Evelyn down and passed the 99 team. RJ Bishop, also another team trying to get another good run. Justin Henley holding down 5th on Peter Onjak. Peter Onjak has surprisingly is so high up in the points, despite the fact that Onjak does not have, that 5 team does not have a single top 10 to their name, which surprises me because that team has been super consistent. Of course, they've had a couple of bad runs here and there. But overall, this team, I would be pretty proud of them if they're able to pull out a top 10 or even a top 5 here. Logan Cloud won a race early on in the season, was looking to be a championship favorite, had a disastrous mid part of the season. Don't believe they got a single top 10 after their win. But Cloud, they're trying to get back into they're trying to recover, trying to get back into the top 15 in points. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. Zachary Fitzwater has been a surprise. The 59 team, Fitzwater has always maintained that he is a road course specialist. But seeing him do so well on short tracks, it gives a lot of his fans some hope. Hopefully he'll be able to keep this top 10 run. You have Mitchell Carter, another driver, trying to have a good run after a absolutely abysmal season. The third wheel at Finguy Pasami Motorsports, as a lot of the media have called him. But Mitchell Carter this is his second straight week, if I recall correctly, where he qualified inside the top 10. I know he qualified in the top 5 at Nashville before they had some issues. And Christian Vargas rounds out your top 10. Vargas is trying desperately to make up any kind of points. That DQ he had after Darlington, where a rash of cars failed tech, took all his points, put him behind the 8 ball. And Vargas has tried to rise to the occasion. You can see he has been doing really good. He's been running in the top 10 for most of the races we've since. But he has got to get the results. That team has since not been able to really complete races. And that is something you need to do if you want to fight for a championship. Julio Cesar, another car that we have not seen run really well since the early part of the season. The 75 and the 57 of Ryan Reed. Those 2 cars have just not had the race pace that they need to be able to contend for wins and championships. They impressed me at Darlington earlier this season, where both of them were inside the top 5 for almost the entire race. But a bad pit cycle put them about mid-pack. Griffin Lapel McDermott, another driver. This was last week's winner at Kansas. This number 22 team coming off that win. They're currently running 12th, trying to back up with a top 10 run. And GLM told me during the pre-race that he believed that this team is starting to rise. They're going to join their teammate in the championship hunt. And seeing how far back they are with, as of now, 5 races left in the championship, I would be concerned if I were GLM, because you've got a lot of points to make up at that rate. And hopefully, but I'm all optimistic for them. I hope they can do well. Another team I'm optimistic for is JD Martin. That 66 team has had so much adversity. The third Revolution Racing car, from DQs to crashes to the absolute worst luck to almost winning at Canadian Tire. This CarMax team are really showing what they can do here, running 13th. Really good run for them. Landon Thomas as well, and Luke Evans. Luke Evans told me, a self-described short track racer, running 15th, has his teammate Jesse Turner behind him in 16th. Then you have Vince Free 17th, Nick Breeding, another championship favorite, is an 18th, Taylor Frey's 19th, and Ben McDonald rounds out your top 20. Meanwhile, back up front, James Ellison is starting to migrate up a lane to try to run down the Fago Chevrolet. It's Chevrolet, Toyota, Ford are your top 4, and they are all under a blanket. RJ Bishop is 1.1 seconds behind the race leader of Ryan Griffin, coming to complete lap number 22 here. I was described by several drivers that this was going to be somewhat of a longer race, 125 laps. And you really need to pace yourself. But something I was also warned, there might be several cautions. So this would really break up the flow of the race. And if not, I've had some drivers who have run long, short track, late model races here, like your James Ellisons, like your Luke Evans, and they've both told me that this track can be tough on equipment. It will chew up equipment and spit it out, which I actually believe, because this track, it is a flat, almost flat short track, very little banking in the corners. And so the racing groove is so close to the wall that it would not surprise me cars going up there, hitting the wall, knocking toe links out, knocking, fenders off. But Ellison this top four has really been able to hold Ryan Griffin within arm's length. Griffin said he was trying to pace himself over the radio, and I would not be surprised if that team is just going to try to hold, not run away from James Ellison, Asher Evelyn, and RJ Bishop, but just keep them, close enough and not push the tires. Because also, several crew chiefs told me that we might have pit stops. You see Asher Evelyn dives underneath James Ellison. But the problem is, with that kind of move, you have to be able to use either a lap car as a pick, which, what's this? What happened there? DJ Curtis has stalled the car, and Ryan Griffin just had to stop for it, but that's going to put James Ellison back into the lead. We're going to have our first lead change. DJ Curtis is back the pit road. Curtis said that he had a fuel problem. He ran out of fuel going down the front straightaway, and it stalled on him. He was able to pull it into the infield, but an absolute disaster because Ryan Griffin had to avoid that number 2 car. James Ellison has now taken the lead. Our first lead change of the day, and it is a hometown driver. That is James Ellison. Ryan Griffin running an outside line, trying to build runs. Almost got the wall there. Asher Evelyn and RJ Bishop, those 2 spots remain unchanged. Justin Henley has gotten the wall with that 31 car. The right side of his car is completely knocked off. Peter Onjack holds 6th. Logan Cloud is 7th. Zachary Fitzwater's 8th. Mitchell Carter's 9th. And Christian Vargas is still rounding out your top 10. Ryan Griffin now has to show his muscle, as it will, and try to run down James Ellison, the Michigander chasing the hometown Indiana man. But this is going to be tough because these guys are unable. It's been shown that these cars just cannot pass around the outside or around the inside without a lot of help. So the outside is really the way to go, or even the bump and run. It would not shock me if some of these guys try the bump and run. Griffin has stabilized between about 0.6 of a second here on James Ellison. The next lap car the first lap car is Jeffrey Finguy in 40th place. Just got to the start-finish line. Here comes Ellison. He's at the start-finish line now. So that is Finguy is 17 seconds behind James Ellison. It takes about 23 seconds to get around this racetrack at this rate. So Ellison, and there's some more problems there. Oh, what's this? Oh, and Henley got the wall. And we have more problems. Julio Caesar has had some problems. He came over the radio, said the engine was going. They believe that the gears have broken. They believe the transmission has blown. An absolute disaster for that team. Julio Caesar and that number 75 crew. It looks like they're going to be finishing in 40th place, just 1 spot ahead of DJ Curtis, the Nashville winner. That's absolutely not what they wanted to see. And like we said earlier in the broadcast, equipment might be put to it when it's put to its absolute limit. Look at that 31 car as an example. We're going to see we might see a lot of equipment failures if this just goes into an absolute long run. Henley has knocked the entire right side of his G&W Genesee and Wyoming Chevrolet off the car. But meanwhile, Ryan Griffin has halved the lead James Ellison has put on him. It was 0.3 of a second last time by. Now it looks to be about 0.4. So Ellison has been able to steadily put a gap back on Ryan Griffin. But Griffin has gotten closer, and I do believe he is going to run down this Indiana Dimensions Incorporated Chevrolet here before long. But Ellison has got to be cautious, because he could have exactly what happened to Ryan Griffin, where a slow car or a damaged car gets right in front of him, and he just has to check up and avoid it. But you see here, Ellison has almost put 0.7 on Ryan Griffin in the last few laps. Of course, Griffin is having to deal with Asher Eveland, and RJ Bishop has slowly slipped backwards a tad. But we'll go ahead and go through the field. James Ellison, of course, is your leader. Griffin's second. Asher Eveland third. RJ Bishop's fourth. Justin Henley's right, what stands the right side of the car, is fifth. Peter Onjak sixth. Logan Cloud is seventh. Zachary Fitzwater's eighth. Mitchell Carter's ninth. And Christian Vargas rounds out your top 10. Then you have Griffin Lipple McDermott in 11th. J.D. Martin is 12th. Landon Thomas is 13th. Luke Evans 14th. With Jesse Turner, his teammate, 15th. Then you have Vince Freeze. You have Taylor Frey. You have Nick Breeding, Ben McDonald, and Lane Sanders rounding out your top 20. 21st is Jeff Bolton. 22nd is Henry Thomas, two MB2 Motorsports teammates. Then you have Rhodes Gray. You have Dunn LaPrade. You have Angel Gutierrez, Samuel England, Stephen Colon, Daniel Voles, a pair of Wisco Motorsports cars. Then you have Charles Sanford and KJ Hayes round out your top 30. Derek Hamill's 31st. Stanley Andrews is 32nd. Alexander Phoenix is 33rd. 34th goes to Cody Goforth. 35th, Nicky Martinez. Then you have Chris Martins. You have Mac Johnson, Ryan Reed, and Jeffrey Finguy is back in 39th. I do believe we've had another issue. No, we haven't. Of course, James Ellison holding a steady lead. It was my bad. The 36 car was the winner last week. That was Henry Thomas, not Griffin Lipple McDermott. Of course, 43 laps are complete. 1/3 of the race is complete here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the 10th round of the Right Lane Cup Series. We will be right back after these short messages.
You spend the day going in circles, and you earn the right to do one more. That's fuel for the soul.
Sunday is race day. That's why the Domino's 555 deal is perfect. 3 medium pizzas for $5 each. I have a pizza here for Mr. Right Lane.
That's mine. You're right. Mine would be the king of Right Lane.
Really? Mine would be for the Emperor of Right Lane.
Mine would be the Czar of Right Lane.
The Grand Poobah of Right Lane.
General Velissimo of Right Lane.
El Presidente de Right Lane.
King Daddy.
During a 500-mile race, the Texaco Haviland race team will change the tires, replace the fuel, and adjust the suspension. But there's one thing engineered to go the distance: the oil. Haviland, race-proven protection.
Welcome back to the 10th round of the Right Lane Cup Series season at Indianapolis Raceway Park. We are 48 laps into this event out of 125. James Ellison is your race leader. Ryan Griffin is 1 second back from him. Then it's Asher Eveland, RJ Bishop, and Justin Henley rounding out your top 5. James Ellison is in serious contention for not only getting a bonus point for leading a lap, which he has already done, but getting the most lap led bonus. It will give you 2 extra bonus points, and James Ellison could really use those bonus points right now. Outside the top 10 in points, Ellison really needs a good run here, as does Ryan Griffin, as does Asher Eveland, as does RJ Bishop and Justin Henley. All these cars in the top 10 desperately need good runs, trying to get themselves into the points. But meanwhile, you have lap 50 now. Ryan Griffin has started to reel in the Indiana Dimension Chevrolet of James Ellison. Ellison might have gapped his lead a little bit too much, as he lost about a tenth and a half that time by, but he's immediately gained it back. Ryan Griffin has now gone back to over a second behind the number 3. We'll go ahead and take a look at the fastest lap. It was set by Asher Evelyn early in this race, 22.157. Peter Onjack. A lot of these cars, in fact, I believe most of these cars were in the top 10. The 44 of Daniel Voles being the outlier. But Ryan Griffin has really stabilized to about a 1 second lead behind James Ellison. And Griffin has come over the radio and told his team the car is just off balance. It was a good short run car, but after almost hitting that 2 car of DJ Curtis when Curtis stalled, he just cannot get this car rebound. He just has no balance. He thinks he shook the tires. His crew chief told him to keep calm, try to ride it out. Everybody's tires will even out, and he'll be able to use this car and catch that number 3 car. And it's starting to work because Ellison, he's gained 2/10 on James Ellison in the last 2 laps. Asher Evelyn is just following him up there. How about Asher Evelyn? Like we said earlier in this race, Evelyn has just not had a lot of good runs. That 99 team had the one good run at Darlington, foiled by James Ellison, who went on to win that race. But Evelyn told me that they believe that they could win this race this weekend. They had a really good car. They unloaded a really good race car. They just need they need things to go absolutely right for them. And so far, holding on to a third, I would not be disappointed with a third place. Started 4th, holding down 3rd, but Ryan Griffin is thinking bigger picture. He has gained another 1/10 of a second on that number 3 car of James Ellison. We might see a 3 versus 8 versus 99 duel here, maybe later on in the race. Meanwhile, it looks like he might have lost a little bit more time on Ellison. We'll see this time by. Yes, he lost a full 1/10 that time. James Ellison has been able to really hold his own right now. And Ellison, I think this would be a win, one of the biggest wins of his career. Winning in front of his hometown crowd, being from Indiana. And Ellison really trying his best to keep Ryan Griffin at bay, but Griffin has run him down. He gained over 2/10 that time by. Now it's 0.59 seconds. And he's starting to get all over the back bumper. He's probably going to be about 3/10 this time by. 3/8. 0.38 of a second. Man, Griffin is there. He's starting to show up. Ellison has just been slow these last couple of laps. He's trying to rally it back. We'll see what Griffin does. Griffin is running a slightly lower line than the 3. That might help, but the 3 is getting this run off the corner. We'll see this time. Ellison did get a better run, but Ryan Griffin is closing up. Asher Evelyn is also trying to run a lower line. We might see all the lines come into play here later on. I know this seems weird coming after Kansas, where the outside lane came in after a good number of laps, but it would not shock me if cars tried the lower line later in the run. We'll see it here. Man, Griffin was able to reel in James Ellison, but it has gone away. Now he's back over half a second behind James Ellison. We were told during the commercial break to watch out for green flag pit stops. Maybe in the next 20 laps or so, we will probably see. Man, Ryan Griffin is probably hoping and praying for this, because he is just not able to run. He just gets up to James Ellison and just cannot execute the pass. But we're noticing the fall off after we're coming to lap 63 now. After 62 laps, the fall off has been about 7/8 of a second. James Ellison just ran a 22.95. compared to his best lap being a 22.21. So Ellison is really, so the fall off, I would expect new tires to really mean something, especially if we go green. It'll be about a 40-ish lap dash to the finish. But I did notice something out of the corner of my eye. There is the rear of the field. It is Jeffrey Finn Guy. James Ellison has gained a ton of time on that. 21 seconds behind the leader is Jeffrey Finn Guy. About, give or take, a second and a half ahead of the 3 car. James Ellison trying desperately to make this run work. Mind you, he is trying to hold on. If he can lead about 15 more laps, then he will have the most lap led bonus. Ryan Griffin leading several laps, leading the first about 20 laps, really threw a wrench in his plans. Ellison is holding strong. Problem with Jeffrey Finn Guy, though, Finn Guy is your points leader and having an absolute terrible run. Looking at the points as of right now, he would lose a ton of points to the likes of Alexander Phoenix, Nick Breeding, Vince Freeze. All of them would be gaining so much time, so many points on him. So what will Finn Guy do? Finn Guy will have to try to do something on this pit stop. Maybe pit early, try to undercut the field, and we look at this. Henry Thomas has stalled a car. Thomas, no caution is out. Henry Thomas, last week's winner, has had a fuel pickup issue. The second fuel pickup issue of the day for Henry Thomas. They've gotten that car out of the pits. And look at this. Taylor Frey is pitting. Let's hope this is not another issue, especially for this team. This team, it will be the 3rd week in a row if this is an issue. Nothing yet. There's the 36 on the pit lane. We'll see right here. They're putting, it might be a scheduled pit stop. We might be hitting scheduled pit stops. The 15 car. Taylor Frey, the Venmo Dodge. We'll see here. Doing 4 tires and fuel. It is a scheduled pit stop. This 15 car this was a scheduled stop. But this will put him several laps down. This must be an extreme undercut. As now Jeffrey Finn Guy is within probably 5 or 6 car lengths of the leader, James Ellison. This might slow his progress and bring Ryan Griffin back to him. He lost a tad bit of time that time by. But on lap number 71, we could expect to see Ellison try to short pit this and get out as fast as he can. Ryan Griffin might. Griffin told his crew they've been debating over the last few laps about staying out as long as they can. They think they can stretch it on fuel, which I would hope that they don't try to do, because the tire fall off is now almost a second. So assuming that this race would go green and they pit now, Griffin would lose this race either way, so he would have to pit with everybody else. Evelyn also debating on staying out. Ellison, though, has lost a ton of time after getting near the number 92 of Jeffrey Finn Guy, but he's gained all that time back. It is just over 1 second, and James Ellison is running the race of his life, running an even more dominant run than at Darlington, where he ended up winning the race. But this is something that needs to be known. He is all over. Man, he has just gained 0.3 of a second on Ryan Griffin. What is Griffin up to? Griffin is holding down the second spot. But it just looks like his car is absolutely not responding. It responded that time. Ryan Griffin just gained a whole bunch of time on James Ellison. Man, it was 1.3 seconds. I imagine it to be under a second now. He cut that lead in half. James Ellison had an absolutely disastrous lap. I don't know what that deal was about, but it has brought Ryan Griffin right back into the talk of this lead. And if Ellison catches the lap traffic before pit stops, we're on lap 76 now. If he is able to catch lap traffic, look like he's going to, this could be a fight. We could see a fight for the race lead here in a moment. Ellison has caught Jeffrey Finguy. Ryan Griffin has been re-caught by Asher Eveland. Let's see what the time difference is that time. 0.8. That is 0.8 of a second separating the front two. 0.99 tenths of a second, ironically, for the 99 car holding third. James Ellison has now caught the back of the field. So this is going to be a very interesting turn of events here. Let's see how much time Griffin gained. He gained 0.6 tenths of a second. Ellison has got to try to do something as the lap cars are holding the outside line. We'll see what Ellison tries to do. If he tries to dive underneath Jeffrey Finguy, or if he tries to just take the outside line, Finguy be courteous. But this has really brought Ryan Griffin into the fray. He gained 0.03 of a second, but he is showing his mettle. Man, and I believe we might be having pit stops. We've seen some position changes inside the top 10. But Ryan Griffin is there. He has cut the lead in half once again. It is 0.34 seconds separating the front two. Asher Eveland has not been able to keep up with Ryan Griffin. Slips back about 1.1 seconds. RJ Bishop has brought himself back into this fight. He's 1.5 seconds back. Let's see what Ellison does. We complete lap number 80 now. We're almost 2/3 of the way through this race. We are coming up on pit stops. I would be very interested to see what Ellison has in mind here. If he's able to get around Jeffrey Finguy, he's clearly caught faster. So let's see what he's gonna hold. Run a half a lane up. He's gonna look inside. Suddenly, Asher Eveland and RJ Bishop are on the scene. They have cut into James Ellison's lead on them significantly. Look at that. Man, the top four are back, being separated by under a second, just like at the beginning of this race. Eveland tries the very outside line against the wall. Bishop's going to pull right up to the back bumper. James Ellison still behind Jeffrey Finguy. 83 laps complete here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. James Ellison has led most of the race, and he has gained the extra bonus points for leading the most laps. 83 laps coming to lap number 84 of the 10th round of the Right Lane Cup Series. We will be right back after this.
From the entire Channel 4 News team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
Subscribe to Right Lane Cup.
You spend the day going in circles. When you earn the right to do one more, that's fuel for the soul.
Pit stops are happening. Welcome back to the Right Lane Cup Series, 10th round of the season here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 3 of your top 4 have pit. The only exception, several cars on pit road, the only exception is Ryan Griffin. Griffin and that number 8 Fago Chevrolet stays out. As we saw, more cars are pitting. This is the back half of the field. Several cars with damage after hitting the wall. Jeffrey Finguy remains on the lead lap. There's Lane Sanders, Ben McDonald, Logan Cloud, RJ Bishop. We're in the top 5. Asher Eveland as well. There's Justin Henley, 31. And there was your leader, James Ellison. He's going to get leapfrogged by Justin Henley, his teammate. But I believe Henley stayed on pit road to try to fix that car. Meanwhile, Ellison pulls out, has Asher Eveland all over his rear bumper. See, there's Daniel Voles. He's 4th. Charles Sanford, Jeffrey Finguy. There's Vince Freeze, your 3rd place car. There was Luke Evans. Like Sanders, KJ Hayes, Stephen Cologne's coming off of pit road. There is Taylor Frey. Frey, who split the race in half. I believe Frey will be able to gain a whole bunch of spots out of this. 23rd, he's up to 23rd now. Man, look at this. Several cars come out of pit road. Here's Griffin McDermott, Nick Breeding, Cody Goforth. Here is what would be the top 10. Logan Cloud is scraping the fence here. He could not get out of the wall. Here comes Zachary Fitzwater. Ben McDonald, 30, who just pitted. There's Luke Evans. Luke Evans was second place. Daniel Voles is pitted as well. And there's Ryan Griffin, your race leader. There was talk during the last run, or before the pit stops, Ryan Griffin trying to run the race to the very end. Even now, if the caution comes out, he is in a very, very good spot, as we have seen cautions come out during pit cycles, cars colliding coming in on and off pit road, especially at a narrow short track here. A caution coming out would be favorable for Ryan Griffin and the number 8 team, as they are the only car on the lead lap. Of course, James Ellison is second, Ash Ligman's third, RJ Bishop's fourth, Daniel Voles is fifth. I'm sorry, make that Zachary Fitzwater. Logan Cloud, you have Landon Thomas, Mitchell Carter, you have Luke Evans is 10th, and Peter Onjak is 9th. But I'm seeing a lot of a strange pitch strategy here. And mind you, this is going to really be messed up until Ryan Griffin pits, which they are still reminding Griffin he might be able to go all the way. But the problem is his car, he is over a second and a half off pace from his best lap. He's currently running 23.5s. His best lap was a 22.23. So over a second difference, and it is showing now with the tires. Look, here's Zachary Fitzwater. Here is 5th, 6th, and 7th, all trying to get back to one lap down. Because if this happens, they can take the wave around and get themselves back on the lead lap should something happen. But Landon Thomas right to the inside. Landon Thomas trying to have a good day here. Hasn't had a good... Been pretty quiet all season. Man, look at this. Ryan Griffin is just holding up Logan Cloud, the Aflac Ford. Mitchell Carter is on the scene as well, the Castrol Ford. Man, Griffin tried to run Logan Cloud, get to the bottom. This is going to get them all back on one lap down as well. Here's Peter Onjak in the 9th place. Behind him is Nick Breeding. Breeding is 10th. This is big for the Arizona Ice-T Toyota team. But there's one car that I do not see that was in that spot. Where is he? Oh my goodness. Christian Vargas, 31st. Absolute disastrous pit stop for the number 00 team. The Jersey Mike's Toyota. They were running in the top 10 before the pit cycle started. And this is just, that's not good news for him at all. He desperately needed these points, but I think, and that's even worse news, as James Ellison is second place, right behind him, Stanley Andrews, 32nd. And now there's a lap car separating James Ellison and Asher Eveland. But let's see, where is Ryan Griffin? There is Finn Guy, 34th, Hamill's 35th, Samuel Ingles, 36th. Derek Hamill had a really bad pit stop. Did Ryan Griffin pit? I believe Ryan Griffin came on pit road. There he is. Ryan Griffin is on pit road. They ran it out as long as he could. He ran it to lap 100. 25 laps to go here. Griffin is on pit road. Let's see if he is able to do anything with this. But I think there's not enough time for these tires to kick in and for him to have an indefinite advantage. Griffin pitting. He's taking 4 tires. I would have take right sides personally. Now he's down and away. Samuel England, I believe he's definitely not going to cycle out as the leader. Look at how many cars. There's Fitzwater. There's Ben McDonald. I believe he's going to cycle out to about 7th or 8th place. Man, he came up. Logan Cloud is in the wall again. 3 wide. Mitchell Carter trying to make moves. Oh no! Ryan Griffin sideways on the front straightaway after coming out of his pit stall. Almost gets Peter Onjak. What an absolute disastrous sequence of events for the number 8 team. Mitchell Carter tried shooting the gap, and it worked. Carter is up to 6th. Logan Cloud is down to 7th. But Ryan Griffin is the big loser here. He's going to probably be in ninth. Nick Breeding is all over the Fago Chevrolet, trying to get that spot. Breeding all the way to the inside next to the yellow line. But your leader now is James Ellison. Ellison's in the fence. Here comes Asher Evelyn, the 99. Backed it off, running the inside line, all the way to the inside in turn number 1. This is absolutely... This was not a good turn for Asher Evelyn. RJ Bishop's all the way on Evelyn's back bumper. Bishop to the inside. Evelyn running the outside line. This is all James Ellison wants to see. Lap 104 out of 125. 22 laps to go. James Ellison trying everything in his power to keep this car up front, but man, Asher Evelyn is gaining, and gaining fast. This is a little bit of deja vu. Remember Darlington? Earlier this season, I believe it was round number 6, James Ellison. Asher Evelyn was the leader by a good margin. James Ellison saved his tires, ran down the 99, passed the 99, and went on to win the race. Now, James Ellison had a decent margin, and Asher Evelyn is running him down. 20 laps to go here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. It has been a rather exciting race here. Ellison, Evelyn, Bishop, Fitzwater is 4th. Landon Thomas is 5th. How about that for the chapstick dodge of Landon Thomas? Mitchell Carter having a career day in the 6th position. But man, the fight is on for the lead. James Ellison has a mirror full of wah-wah. That is Asher Evelyn. Evelyn ducks a lane lower. Evelyn's going to get to the quarter panel. Maybe. It's going to be all over James Ellison's bumper. This is going to be the first time we've really had a fight for the lead all day. Evelyn to the inside, running a lane lower. Ellison had to wash up. Here comes Asher Evelyn. RJ Bishop is back in the mix. This is going to be a great 3-way battle for the win. And a rematch between the front two. Evelyn all over Ellison's back bumper. Less than 0.2 of a second separate them. What can Evelyn do? Evelyn's going to have to either use the bumper or get a really massive runner, shunt Ellison out of the way. And I would not be surprised if any of those things happen. Evelyn clearly has a better car. They did a wedge adjustment on the restart to make it a little bit more free, and it is working out. Evelyn doing everything in their power to get around James Ellison. The gap has fallen back to 1.19 of a second. Evelyn a lane lower. Ellison a lane higher. This is coming to 12 laps to go. Lap 111 out of 125. Evelyn has got to try anything and everything to get around James Ellison. But meanwhile, RJ Bishop has set his sights on the front two. He is closer to the lead than he has been all day. 0.55 seconds. Evelyn trying everything to keep up with Ellison. I believe Evelyn burnt up the tires. Ellison is wide coming out of the corner. Ellison's in the fence. Here comes Asher Evelyn. There's a fight for the lead. Going into turn 1 here at IRP. The fans are absolutely losing it. Ellison, the hometown crowd, absolutely on their feet, but Ellison is trying to keep it on the outside, Evelyn to the inside. RJ Bishop's going to pick whichever lane moves. Bishop to the inside. Asher Evelyn trying to clear. Does. New leader Asher Evelyn blocks James Ellison into turn 1. Ellison drives it back in on the outside to get back alongside Asher Evelyn, but he overdrives the corner. Here comes RJ Bishop. Bishop slots into the inside. Asher Evelyn gets the lead. This is absolutely not what James Ellison wanted to see. Ellison, an absolute disaster of a lap, got the wall, overdrove the corner, and is now, instead of being The Pied Piper is now one of the mice trying to run down Asher Eveland. Coming around, it's going to be 10 laps to go here at IRP. Eveland, then it's Ellison, Bishop, Fitzwater's back out of the picture. No contest. Then it's Landon Thomas. Landon Thomas rounding out your top 5. But Eveland is starting to pull away from James Ellison, putting some distance. I believe it was 0.36 seconds last time by. We'll see what it is this time. 0.68 seconds. Eveland, though. Eveland's in the fence. Ashley Eveland got in the marbles and hit the fence. Here comes James Ellison. Ellison had to didn't want to overdrive the corner either. Ran the bottom line. I believe that's going to even things out. We'll see how much time Ellison gained. Lost time. Ellison lost time that lap. That is not... Ellison running that inside line had to really slow up to get through the corner. But I believe Ellison... Look at this. Ellison is fading. RJ Bishop is to his inside. Bishop trying to get second spot from James Ellison. But this is all Asher Eveland wants to see. Coming around, we're going to be coming to 6 laps to go. Asher Eveland has had several good runs this year, get absolutely ruined. Bad pit cycles, bad timings of cautions. And now the Wah-Wah Toyota Camry is leading, getting bonus points, trying desperately to hold on, and is pulling away. James Ellison has lost over a second on the 99, 1.62 seconds. RJ Bishop couldn't get around the 3. He's fallen back to 1.86 seconds. Coming around, we're coming to 5 laps to go this time. Man, all Eveland has to do, it is clear racetrack for about a second and a half. There's Christian Vargas getting overtaken by Stanley Andrews for the 31st spot. But Eveland doesn't even have to push. James Ellison is safely out of range. 4 laps to go. Asher Eveland trying to get Revolution Racing, trying to get desperately back into the points conversation, trying to show that the 00 Christian Vargas is not the only championship contender from Revolution Racing. 3 laps to go. Of course, the fans, these hometown fans would have loved to see a James Ellison win, but Ellison is now back 2 seconds, fading fast. Ellison used up all his stuff to get away from Asher Eveland. Eveland used lessons learned from Darlington, caught Ellison at a bad time, and pounced on the 3. 2 laps to go. And will now, it looks like Asher Eveland will pull away with not going to say an easy victory, but a well-earned one, having to fight Ellison. Though Ellison has a small consolation, he did get the most laps led bonus, and will get a good finish out of it. White flag, 1 lap to go for Asher Eveland. Revolution Racing has been such a lopsided team. The 00 fighting with the championship. The other 2 cars, not so much. Asher Eveland had some flashes earlier this season, but finally, there will be a flash in the can. Asher Eveland, Wah-Wah Toyota, and the number 99 team will win here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Will be Eveland's first win of their career. James Ellison gets a 2nd place. RJ Bishop almost got him for 2nd. We'll get home with a 3rd. Then you have Zachary Fitzwater with a 4th place. A good run for him. Landon Thomas holds off Mitchell Carter for a top 5. Carter will settle for a 6th place. Ryan Griffin and his fresh tires gets back up to 7th. Nick Breeding gets an 8th place. Logan Cloud gets a much-needed top 10 with the right side of his car knocked all to pieces. And then you have Vince Freeze, wherever Freeze is. We don't know if... There's Vince Freeze. Will round out. Will get a much-needed top 10, a double top 10 for the Fitzwater Australia Racing Team. But a congratulations to Asher Eveland and that team. Thank you guys so much for watching the 10th round of the Right Lane Cup Series. We're going to get your results here in a second.